This is Ben McClintock and Enoch Moore of DefendingUtah.org, where we think right and wrong, not right and left.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Defending Utah YouTube channel. You can also find us on Spreaker, iTunes, and iHeartRadio.
This is Ben McClintock and Enoch Moore, and we're speaking with Monty Wells of the Petroglyph. And he did an article recently on the petroglyph.com that I wanted to bring everybody's attention to, because it really brings home the importance of binding our officials down by the chains of the Constitution, as our founding fathers said. We've played several times on the show, and we've posted the videos online of Mark Ward saying that we just need to have faith in the state. We need to plant our flag, our faith in the state. And this article that you did, Monty, really shows us that we need to plant our faith in the principles of liberty and limit our elected officials and our judges to those principles. So you did an article, and it's at thepetroglyph.com, and it's called "San Juan County Violates Due Process with Wind Farm and Sticks the Residents with $250,000 Legal Bill." Thanks for joining us, Monty.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically what it is, we've had a wind farm come in. It's been in the process since about 2004, I think. And finally they built it and everything. And in the process, they ignored some of the rules that they were supposed to follow. And when it was taken to the county, the planning and zoning ignored them. So then the people appealed it to the commissioners, and the commissioners had a hearing. They found in favor of the Northern Monticello Alliance group that was involved in this. And then about 2 or 3 days later, then one of the commissioners, along with another one, changed their mind and issued another finding in favor of the power company, because the power company threatened to sue them for several $1 million. So then it ended up in district court, and that's what this article is about.
Wow. So they're just kind of backpedaling, it looks like, just to avoid a lawsuit?
Well, the suit, that civil suit or the civil case right now, it's not the Northern Monticello Alliance group. It's a group of landowners that the wind farm built around. They're sort of right in the middle. They're sort of referred to as the donut hole.
Right.
And when they were out there was an agreement drawn up between the Latigo Wind Park and Wasatch Wind. When they developed the project, there's an agreement drawn up with them that if they were going to build and stuff, they would buy these people's property. And that in the process, there was all these stipulations or all these guidelines that they had to follow as far as sound and noise and light and everything on the wind farm. Well, then they sold it to a company called S-Power. And then S-Power come in and said, no, we're not going to honor it, basically. And so this group of people took it to the planning and zoning and said, you guys have issued these guys a building permit, and the building permit wasn't issued right. They're not following the rules. They're violating this contract. There was an agreement between everybody involved. And the planning and zoning just pretty much ignored them. And
wow.
And just sort of set the stage for all this. And then took it to the commissioners, and the commissioners, after a hearing, Commissioner Lyman wrote up a thing with all three commissioners, no, two of the commissioners, Commissioner Lyman and Commissioner Benally, agreed that there needed to be a third party involved. They needed to address these issues, and they needed to mitigate these things out and get them solved before the thing went any further. Well, it was Commissioner Adams that came back about 4 days later, after S-Power sent a dirty letter to the county and said, no, we're going to find in favor, because we didn't look at all the evidence. And so we find in favor of S-Power. And for whatever reason, Commissioner Benally went along with him. They tried to get Commissioner Lyman to do it. And Commissioner Lyman told them, this is illegal. We can't do it. We can't change it just because we're wanting to change it. We need to go through a process. And Adam said, no, we're going to change it. Well,
what do you think? It's like a big deal. I mean, can you imagine if just a regular citizen came along and wanted to change things? wouldn't they be forced to go through the process?
Oh yeah, totally. But this whole thing is, that's how everything has been along the way here, because he's been involved with this wind farm since day one. I've gone back over the last couple of years doing a lot of research, finding emails, personal emails, documentation showing that he got involved with the renewable energy stuff back in about 2002. Started working with the state, and the person that was working for the state, Christine something or other, I'd have to look at her name. Anyway, she worked for the state of Utah in the Department of Energy or whatever that was doing all this.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, she had started a company called Wasatch Wind and was taking all the information from the state to run her own company. And so her and Adams and a couple of them started working this project, which originally was a project for the city of Monticello. It's because economic development that could only be obtained through a entity like a city or a county.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the city, they went to the city and said, hey, this is a good project. This will provide business, jobs and da-da-da-da-da. So in about 2005, the city started putting in for these grants. They got them. They put up the Met towers to do the wind study. And somewhere along the line, at that point, the city hired Wasatch Wind as a consultant, okay, to help them do this whole project.
Uh-huh.
Part of the grants were that they would have this information available to the public and to other wind companies. Well, in no time at all, pretty soon, Wasatch Wind took over the project, kept all the data, would not release it to anybody, said it was private, and pretty much just violated the USDA grants. There were about $100 and some thousand worth. But still, Commissioner Lyman was, not Commissioner Lyman, Commissioner Adams had some ties there. Oh, it all goes back to Redco, who went out of business. There was another wind farm company.
Okay, that sounds about par for the course. These guys aren't able to stay in business a long time.
Right. Yeah, because it's all, most of this stuff is all based on federal subsidies and everything else.
Right.
And they're just in there pulling the money and then they flip it around.
So it's not even a stable business model to begin with, to be breaking all of these rules, to be bending over for these companies.
No, not these particular ones. We had another company come in that actually was their own company. They used their own money, didn't work off federal grants and all that,
right,
wanting to start a wind farm. And that's sort of what brought all this to head, because when they started applying to do their project, which is further north of Monticello,
mm-hmm.
all of a sudden they ran into roadblock after roadblock with the county, and the county said, you got to do this and that and all these things.
So the projects that were privately funded were getting roadblocks, but the companies that were federally funded, taxpayer funded, they were bending over backwards, breaking all the rules to let them get through.
That, and also the people, Commissioner Adams had relatives running these the project.
Oh, that doesn't sound like a conflict of interest.
No, not at all, does it? His brother was involved with it. His cousin, his second cousin, still is. His second cousin and a group of them that owned Redco that went bankrupt, they flipped the money around, did some stuff they weren't supposed to do, and then started a new company called S-Power. And so now the administration of S-Power is the same people that were involved in Redco. Well, anyway, now S-Power, one of their head people is Commissioner Adams' second cousin.
Wow.
And the guy that issues the permits, the building permits and everything at the county, is his brother. Is this guy for the guy with S-Power? It's his brother, who is also Commissioner Adams' cousin. Mm-hmm. So it's a family affair.
Is this just me, or does this sound like a classic case of theft?
Yeah,
it's just my buddy or my family's in government, and I can take some enormous amount of money from the taxpayer and give it to my friend, or my family member or whatever. It's just straightforward theft. They supposedly start a company, things go funny, money disappears, and then they're off with their fortune doing whatever venture they want to do next.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. At least that's my feelings on the situation. And we've tried you know, the information that we've got, that, you know, it's hard for a reporter to get a subpoena to look at, you know, bank records and all that to track the money. But definitely we have documented where back with Redco, where his brother was getting money from Redco, that one person that worked for Redco told us that that money that was being paid to that company was for Commissioner Adams' help, was paying him. Then on this one, on this deal here, you know, I haven't been able to track any kind of money stuff going, but a lot of favors, you know, which ties right back into the lands deal, this PLI and the energy corridors, the Sitla land exchange. It's all tied to this same thing. It's all tied together, and it's all corrupt. That conditional use permit, the first one he issued, if you look at the dates on that, we have that online, the actual permit, but you look at that and the dates he puts on there, he has it all approved himself before it even goes to the planning and zoning or the commissioners.
Wow.
So he just goes ahead and does it. I mean, which is totally, you know, not
Just
following any
using
kind
his
of
authority
policy.
just to bypass the whole system and get his buddies or himself
Exactly.
whatever he wants.
Exactly. And then when it's brought to the zoning board, planning and zoning, which I recorded those meetings, videotaped them, in there, he, you know, he's confronted on it and he just played stoop and said it was, he blamed Bruce Bunker for it, who Bruce Bunker used to do building inspections and stuff. And then he was let go by the county. And so Greg just keeps putting it on him. But if you look at the actual permit that they later issued to S Power, showing, you know, the amount they were supposed to pay in for the fee and all that kind of stuff, it was signed by Bruce Adams, Bruce Bunker, and Greg Adams. They're the three. I mean, you know, Greg saying he doesn't know nothing about it doesn't quite fly. He's the one that signs them
He's
all.
the one that signed it, and they're saying they don't know anything about it. So either
Yeah.
they're horribly incompetent or they're designing. Either way, they don't deserve to be in their offices.
So that was one of the complaints. And then the other complaint was when they built these towers, you know, they're supposed to, if you look at the wind guidelines or whatever, you know, there's no real set standard type thing, but there are some guidelines and stuff that they need to follow. One is like ice throw. You know, these big blades, when they start to turn in the winter and they have ice on them, they'll throw the ice.
Right.
Well, they're supposed to be so many feet away from roads and buildings and stuff like that. Well, these guys build them right next, a couple of them right next to the county road. They were supposed to have certain kind of lights on them. They didn't put those on. They were supposed to have certain turbines that were quiet, and then they changed that and got these really loud ones. They built them, they moved them, which moved them closer to where the Northern Monticello Alliance property is, closer, you know, than they were supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just basically did whatever they wanted to do. And when it was brought to the planning and zoning board, majority of the planning and zoning board just let them do it, which over the years, I've taken stuff up to the state auditor that he's done. We've turned stuff into back when Swallow was in, to the Attorney General. And every single thing we've ever sent up, I went up and talked to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, their head guy. And everybody's excited when I'm talking to them about the stuff I have. And then as soon as I leave the office, they don't return any phone calls and nothing ever happens.
Wow. And so when you bring that to the attention of the auditor, the state auditor, as well as the attorney general, and they, like you said, they ignore your phone calls, so it sounds like that they are protecting this county commissioner, or what's the implication?
Well, I don't know if, you know, I don't know who's protecting who. It's like a bad B movie, but it's real.
That's serious corruption from top to bottom.
Oh, totally. Wow. And you can't get anybody. I mean, I tell you, I'm not just doing this. I have people in the industry that have been helping. I have contacts within the wind industry, within the lands bill stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the information, I get the documentation, we present it, nothing happens. The only thing that happens is just like this, with this judgment that's come out now, and I do a story on it, then all of a sudden I get another round of flack from Commissioner Adams, and he pretty much does that to silence anybody that would speak out against him besides me, because I don't care. I mean, I don't.
So they came out with those rulings, and so what's been the result of that?
So I have a person I get a lot of this information that I talk to about is involved in this case, and what they say happens now because of this ruling, it is sent back to the Planning and Zoning Board, basically, or to the county, and the county now has an option. Of course, this person feels that they only have really one option, and that's either to a couple options: pull the permit from S-Power, or to really sit down and negotiate this out at the table, and for S-Power to sit down and negotiate it at the table as well, and to work out this, their original contract they had, where the land could sell, they could buy their land, because their land's useless now. I mean, who wants to build a house next to a wind tower?
Right.
But so then, if they work all that out and they can negotiate it out, then it can solve this. The Northern Monticello Alliance, when they took this, they didn't take it to sue the county or, to get money. That, they're not going after money. They're just trying to protect their interests with their property, and they'd like them to uphold what they agreed to do, and that's buy the property. Well, because it's gone so far, and because they had to hire a law firm and all that kind of stuff, they are going to ask for the county to cover all the attorney fees. And my understanding is right now is that because of the way this is, and I don't quite understand this, but the county's insurance doesn't cover this particular case. So the county's had to go out and hire an attorney to defend them on this. And I don't know how much they've spent there. But then this guy, the Northern Monticello Alliance, he's talking, they're probably upwards of a couple $100,000 with their firm and all the other stuff that's been going on. So, when this is all done and settled, the taxpayer's going to get hit with the bill here.
So because of these corrupt politicians are losing in court, now the taxpayers are stuck with paying for their corruption.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's sort of a catch, because for 3 years at least, we've been putting out articles. We've been trying to warn everybody what the problems are with this project. I'm not against the wind farm, and if someone owns some land and they want to put 30,000 towers on their land, I don't care. That's
right.
It's their property. But if they're going to do it, they need to do it right, and they don't do it right by violating federal grants, taking money from the taxpayer, and then who knows where that money went.
And shutting down private industry trying to do the same thing, but legally.
Exactly. I mean, this other wind farm was going to be putting up 50-some towers, double what this one is. Think of the tax base that would be coming in right now.
Right.
And he had his money to do it. And it was further out of town, so we didn't have to sit and look at it all day. But again, it's private property. They can do what they want,
Right.
But it just goes around and around in a circle, and the person that ends up losing in the end is the taxpayer.
It's important that folks like you and the Petroglyph are able to get the word out to help people at least understand what's going on, and because you can't really come up with the proper solution until you really understand the problem. So I'm glad that you're able to share that with us.
Oh, not a problem. I appreciate you putting this information out.
Yep. Great. So that was Monty Wells of thepetroglyph.com. Check out his website and check out his report on this, and we'll be back. The editor lady. She will help you publish your book or do any editing for a price you won't believe. Give the editor lady a call at 801-948-3667. That's 801-948-3667. Or email her at theeditorlady@gmail.com. We all know that we need to get prepared for job loss, disasters, and just plain life. You need to go to emergencyseedbank.com. That's emergencyseedbank.com. Enter coupon code DEFEND.UT to get your deep discount on Urban Emergency Seed Bank of 23 varieties of non-hybrid, non-GMO seeds, double hermetically sealed in Mylar for seeds that last for decades. emergencyseedbank.com, coupon code DEFEND.UT. Ben and Enoch will be back next Thursday from 10 to noon on K-Talk AM 630 in Salt Lake City.